Hello, let me turn that off. Lovely tune that was. That wasn't what I meant to press, but you've had a lovely introduction music. I didn't even know that was on the track list. Lovely, wasn't it? Hello, welcome to the Absolute Light Bite with myself. And Charlotte's here as well. Charlotte's here, and we're going to talk about some cup football, aren't we, Charlotte? But first of all, how are you? How are you? I can see you, but I can't hear you, Charlotte. Are you okay? How are things? Okay, I think Charlotte's coming back. Charlotte's coming back in a minute, hopefully. I'll just try and riff in the middle. I hope you're all okay. We're going to talk about the EFL Cup and the FA coming up shortly. It's been a massive week for both cups. Both cups. FA Cup third round is always a massive day in the diary. We've had some massive upsets, some massive cup sets at the weekend, and we've had the EFL Cup quarter-finals in the last couple of days as well, with maybe an even bigger upset. Southampton versus Manchester City. Who saw that one coming? We'll see if Shah can hopefully join us back in a minute. Frozen at the minute, Shah. So let me just see if I can put you back in. We'll do this on the fly and see whether that adds you back in. Not at the moment. No, just myself. So by all means, come and join me in the comments if you want to have a chit chat, and we'll talk about the cup. But first of all, let's start with the FA Cup, and what a weekend it was. Aston Villa capitulating against Stevenage in League Two. What a win for Stevenage. That's the kind of cup upsets I remember. The real lower leagues going to Premier League sides and getting a result, and it seemed to happen so rarely. A non-league as well. So many non-league teams doing well. Charlotte's back. Hello.
Hi, I'm really sorry. My internet's just crashed. I've had to grab my phone.
Here we go. We're working on the fly. This is it. This is cup football.
I just turned my light on.
Cup football. There we are. Charlotte is with us. Thank God. I was doing my best to talk about the cup, but I was running out of games that happened at the weekend. How are you anyway? That's where we were. How are you?
I'm all right. I've just had an internet crisis. My Wi-Fi's just gone down, so I've had to grab my phone. Sorry about that, everyone.
we're on emergency. This is we do what we can. You do what you can in cup football to try and get through it. That's what we're going to do tonight.
How are you anyway?
We'll work it out as we go. Yes, I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm
good.
Doing okay. I'm not doing bad at all. It's been a manic day. But it's good to be back on the Light Bite. It seems ages since we did a Light Bite together, does it not?
I know, it's crazy because we did them all together, didn't we? It was constantly me and you, and then we've not done one in a while, so it's good. It's good to be back.
This was it. We did 5 in a row, and I thought we were like banned from doing them together because we did so many.
Causing trouble.
we were shelved for a while, but we're back. We're back with this. And I was starting to go into up for the cup and things that I liked about the cup. What does the cup mean for you, particularly? Should we start with the FA Cup? Of course, is the big one.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, for us in particular, me being a lower league fan, it does mean a lot to us as a club as a whole, because that's like our source of income. Because obviously, apart from like crowds and stuff like that, if you go on a good cup run, which we have in previous years, obviously it really helps, because for someone like Rochdale, if we get a cup run, maybe that season we don't have to sell a player and stuff like that. So they are quite vital to us. But as a lower league fan as well, that's our chance and our opportunity to get a bigger team who will not really have any, you'd never really play them, like your Manchester United, your Tottenhams and things like that who have played in cups in the past. That's our only real opportunity that we ever get of drawing a big team like that.
Yeah, you forget about the finances, I think, don't you? How important that is for a lower league side. So particularly if you get one of the big boys, it's almost sometimes better to have a replay, isn't it? If you get a turnaround and you get your percentage of the sales or whatever from if you're going to an Anfield or an Old Trafford or somewhere like that as well. So as well as the excitement, I mean, it's the one game a year, isn't it? That's just different to everything else.
Yeah, of course. And I remember with us as well in particular, we actually got Stoke at home a couple of years ago, and it was when Bojan played for them. And he actually got injured at Scotland, which was crazy. He got injured, on a Monday night at Scotland.
Never mind, can a Barcelona guy do it in Stoke on a wet rainy night? Can he do it
I
at
know.
Rochdale? The answer is no, he can't.
I know.
No, he can't. So, is Stoke, what's the biggest side you remember Rochdale getting in the FA Cup?
In the FA Cup, I would probably have to say Tottenham, and we actually drew them at home first, and it was actually, I think you have seen this because obviously in my best bits or something at one time when it was for the pod, I actually said my favourite was Stephen Davis's goal, and it was when he equalised in injury time, obviously against Spurs, and we got a replay at Wembley at the time because obviously the new stadium was being built, so that was just carnage. I remember having bruises on my knees, scratches. I ended up seats in front of me, like rows in front of me. It was mayhem, but in a good way. I think that's my best moment being a Rochdale fan. What about you?
I'm going to go with a few because obviously I'm a Manchester United fan, so I'm coming at it from the other angle, and I have been fortunate enough to win the FA Cup and a few times in my youth, not for a little while, not since 2017, I think it was. It would have been maybe 2018. So when Jesse Lingard scored the win against Palace, but I don't know. I've got a couple of favourites for Man United. One is the semi-final goal from Brian Giggs against Arsenal was just utterly insane in the treble winning year. That was the most bonkers game, Manchester United Arsenal in the semi-final, and I was not supposed to be listening to it because I was young enough. I was supposed to be in bed, and I had one of those like block wireless radio type things, and I was underneath the radio listening to it with the commentator just screaming Ryan Giggs down the thing. So it wasn't until the morning that I saw the goal on the Big Breakfast. Do you remember that on Channel 4?
I do remember the Big Breakfast.
They showed that was the first time I got to see the goal, and that one will stick in my mind. Cantona, obviously, in the '96 Cup final with the bending half volley, and so FA Cup final memories are probably my biggest for United. But outside of that, obviously Aylesbury United is my non-league team from where I was born. So they had a cup run in, I think it was '94, where they made the third round.
Cool.
And drew QPR in the end and that they win the Diadora, the Diadora Premier League, the top division of Diadora.
Love
and
it.
they were famous for doing the duck celebration where they all got on their knees. They scored, I forget if they put the second round. And they all got on their knees and did it. It was all over the internet, a big thing at the time. So that's one of the cup upsets I remember from my youth. But there doesn't seem to have been as many in recent years that you can kind of go, oh yeah, I remember that. I think Lincoln were probably the last one I remember doing a bit of a cup run from really low down the leagues.
Yeah,
and I think that was a few years ago. And obviously Stevenage at the weekend with an unbelievable turnaround against Aston Villa. So those are the kind of things that round 3, it always seems you get to New Year and it was you had Christmas, New Year, the darts was on the telly, and then you have FA Cup third round.
Yeah, I do love the FA Cup as well. I just think, just in general, like I used to love like being younger, and obviously if we were going to an FA Cup game, like me and my dad would spend the whole weekend, together, sat there watching it all on the telly. You could see all different games, and I love seeing the non-league teams as well. Obviously getting draws against the bigger teams and cup upsets. It's just everything about it, isn't it? It's just so good. And I think as much as I do like the Carabao Cup, I think the FA Cup is my favourite because obviously the non-league teams as well, because it's nice just seeing them on the TV when you wouldn't usually. I think it's nice for them as well, and fans, obviously, just lower league fans as well. I just think it's a great day out and stuff. And yeah, it's something that you don't really get the opportunity to do you? Like as a lower league fan.
No. And you can have one cup run, can't you? Time really for those teams. So when it does come, there's such a buzz of probably the most closest non-league side to me is Eastleigh, and they drew Bolton Wanderers a few years ago, and so the buzz of everywhere was massive, and they had a TV cruise. I think they got the TV game as well for that. And as you say, seeing it on the telly and all of that, I was sort of watching it going, I play five-a-side around the back of there. And it's a completely different sense, isn't it, to anything else. So yeah, the FA Cup is, I don't think you can beat it. Even though, say, in certain mindsets, it's maybe not as big as it was, or the way that the top teams that have approached it at times. But I think for lower league in particular, I think it's still got that buzz, hasn't it? Certainly, you know, as you say, over the Carabao Cup and everything else, the non-league, I think, really makes the FA Cup that you can have to qualify through 47 qualifying rounds before you get to somebody in a league situation.
It's just mental, isn't it? How far they actually have to come to get to the actual like rounds that obviously League Two and League One come in. I know obviously the higher teams come in later, but just like what they have to go through for lower teams to actually qualify and get in, like, it's just crazy.
It's bonkers. They almost start before the season starts, don't they? I think the first preliminary rounds like crazily early. It's absolutely bonkers. And yeah, just to get to round one, obviously League One and League Two come in, let alone round three where you've got Championship and Premier League as well. Crazy. But we still have 3 non-league teams left this year, don't we? I think it's 3 left, isn't it? Stevenage, Bournemouth and Chesterfield. I think
Stevenage are in our league.
They are. Oh no, that's true. Yeah, Stevenage. Sorry. Oh, Wrexham was. I was thinking Wrexham, Bournemouth, and Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Those are the 3.
They actually
Wrexham.
beat
Although technically, they beat Coventry, and I think they were kind of. I've never been in a situation where I've kind of fancied a non-league team, even though Coventry had been on a good run. And like before that game, thinking Wrexham are favourites here. So yeah, we'll see whether they can go any further and make more excitement. But we've got big games coming up in round 4 as well. Manchester City, Arsenal. So all big teams are starting to knock each other out. Maybe Ryan Reynolds will have a trip to Wembley come May.
Imagine.
And so, could you imagine? So we've talked about the FA Cup, and the FA Cup's great, and then you've got the EFL Cup, and then you've also got the Football League Trophy as well, don't you, as a cup that's an option, which I always think is a nice opportunity to play at Wembley, I think, for lower leagues. It's something to, is one option, and the second really is the Football League Trophy. Or the Johnston Paint Trophy, or the
it's now
sponsorship is at the time.
Papa John's
the
trophy
Papa John's.
now.
I love a Papa John's.
Do you know what's really funny though? A lot of our fans, Rochdale fans, don't go to that cup, and I find it mind blowing because realistically, if you was to say what cup are Rochdale going to win, that would be the one you'd obviously expect the most because obviously it's a lower league. So, and obviously you know the reserves and stuff of Premier League, and so you'd kind of expect us to win that, but a lot of our fans don't actually like it, and it's mental. It's mental, because I do. And it's pizza as well. You get pizza.
you get pizza. Money off. Do you get money off if you gave you the ticket? Papa John's discount for going to the cup games. It is one of the best sponsorships. Alongside the EFL Cups, has some classics as well, wasn't it? The milk float at one point. I think it was the McDonald's League Cup or something.
I think it was McDonald's. Yeah, I do remember McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's has had some crazy ones, isn't it? So yeah, I think you're right. It's an opportunity, isn't it? If you can get through, because there's quite a few games in that to get through to a final. I think there's a group stage, and then there's at least 4 or 5 knockout phases, I think, isn't there? But yeah, so it's a potential. Wembley Day Out is what everyone's watching football for, isn't it? It's for that day in May.
Yeah, of course. I find it mind blowing as well with us because you play, and obviously it's a table, but if you draw a game, it goes to penalties, and the winner of the penalties get an extra point. So it is quite baffling, like if you're not used to it, but like having a few seasons and being in it now, it's kind of normal. But at first it was a bit mind blowing because we thought, even though we've drew a game and got a point, the winners of the penalties then get an extra point. So it's crazy.
It's just it's a strange setup, isn't it? On my first time as well, everyone was sort of going, what was going on here? It was extra time, and they're lining up for penalties, going, what's going on here? This is all very different. Yeah, it adds something different to it, doesn't it? And where you've got, as you said, the reserve teams from the top leagues as well in it, it's just it's a very unique competition, I think. I don't think they have, I mean, there's obviously like with the FA Trophy and things further down our structure, but I don't know if they have similar things like that in Europe. I don't think they do. I think it's a very English thing for the lower teams. I know they have like amateur cups, but I don't think they have like lower league competition specifically.
It's
So no,
quite it's quite good
it
for
is very good.
yeah, it's quite good for lower leagues as well, because it's happened a few times where obviously we've played like, say, Manchester United's reserves, or we've played like Liverpool's, and then from that we've potentially then got a loan. So it's a chance for like the lower league clubs to see these youngsters, and obviously the teams who haven't got that much money, who do need loan signings and do rely on loan signings, it's a chance for like managers to see them play as well, and then potentially we'll get a loan signing from one of them clubs. It's really good.
Yeah, I suppose it's a free scouting, isn't it? And because it's split
Yeah,
north and south, isn't it? So you're going to get players in your region that are more likely to move, aren't they? So,
yeah, 100%. So it does work quite well in that aspect.
It does indeed, yeah. It's a good little tournament. I don't mind the Football League trophy. But say, in terms of cup matches in general, say you obviously mentioned the Tottenham one. Is there any others that are your favourite in terms of cup matches that you remember?
Oh, I remember playing Manchester United in a Carabao Cup not that long ago, and teenager Luke Matheson, bless him, who had an exam the next day, equalised against United, and obviously took us to penalties. We lost, but that was a good one. Yeah. That was a really good one. Sorry, by the way.
Yeah,
mentioning that one.
That's fine. That one was all right in the end. So it was worrying for a while, but yeah, we went through a phase. I remember of like playing Rochdale. We used to play some non-league teams, and we'd like draw with them at Old Trafford, and we had a right sticky patch. We didn't quite get knocked out by Giant Killer, but we were very close.
Yeah, kept you on your toes.
You did, yeah, you did. So anything else apart from that Man United game you're cool?
There's been a couple as well where obviously we beat Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. We've beat Leeds, and that was probably one of my favourite ever games, because Ian Henderson, who's our all-time top scorer, he did this great goal, and he actually chipped their goalkeeper, and it was when Leeds were going through a bad patch at the time, and it was just fantastic. The atmosphere were booming, everyone was up for it, and it was just one of them games I'll always remember. It was, honestly, it was great.
Yeah, a buzz like that. I think it's a goal. You have a great game and you remember a game, but there's like a particular goal. It just tops it off, doesn't it? The icing. You always sort of go back to that game in your memory and go, "Oh yeah, I remember we scored that," or "That one went against us." Or yeah. So we went through a phase. I remember losing a cup final, and it was Didier Drogba. It was a nightmare. We always used to lose against Chelsea in sort of A Cup finals, and it was always kind of Drogba just would have like a moment against us. It would just kill United. But yeah, and the FA Cup finals felt like such an event. I remember telling me a story that he was at I think it was his brother's wedding, who booked it on FA Cup final, which he was already absolutely fuming about. So this is because it was in the day. Obviously, everyone it's very limited to watch it, and apparently that all of them went outside of the church to go and watch it outside this TV screen. Stood there for an hour and a half in the street watching the FA Cup final, like. And the of Curry's or whatever it was back then.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, Torsten's reminded me. 2007, 1-0 the FA Cup final. Yes, I remember. Your memory's good as well.
Just on Didier Drogba as well. He's actually got the same birthday as me. He's my birthday twin, me and Didier.
you and Didier, you and your celebrity pals.
It's my birthday twin. We're nothing like each other. I don't think.
At least you'll never forget to send him a card, will you?
I know.
Won't be like Yaya Toure getting mad because you haven't bought him a birthday cake.
I know. Remember that?
Oh dear, that was bonkers, wasn't it?
That was crazy.
That was absolutely bonkers. So yeah, I mean, so we touched on it, like European cups. I don't think, not obviously European cups, we're talking about domestic cups in other countries and things. Just doesn't seem to have the same buzz, does it? It doesn't seem. I know they've all got different structures. Like I think Germany play their cup the first round. Top sides have to play a lower league team. I think it works out. So they can't draw against each other. It's a very different system, but. A lot of foreign managers always talk about the FA Cup and memories, don't they, when they come over? I mean, I think I remember Di Matteo and people like that, you know,
Yeah,
him coming
yeah.
over because he obviously scored in the cup final, didn't he? They will remember it.
Yeah, it's quite sad as well because I feel like as like years have gone by, to a lot of fans now, it doesn't seem as important, and a lot of people don't get the buzz about it much anymore. Whereas I think like generations ago, like my dad, like growing up, he loved the FA Cup and stuff like that, and you know the older generations, they absolutely love the FA Cup and stuff, and I just feel like. And I don't know if it's because there's all these different cups now. They've obviously brought all different things in, but it just doesn't feel like you get that same buzz anymore. And it's quite sad, really, because like I said, I used to love just sitting there and spending the whole weekend just watching the FA Cup.
Yeah, it is mad, isn't it? It doesn't. It, yeah, I think you're right. Something's not quite there with it. It doesn't quite have,
Yeah.
and unless I think you're kind of a team where realistically, if you're looking like the Premier League, like middle of the down, and suddenly you're in a quarter-final or semi-final, and there's an opportunity at Wembley in a cup final, and you know that game. I was talking to some Southampton fans today because obviously they had a massive result yesterday in knocking Manchester City out of the Carabao Cup, which was unbelievably shocking. Came off the tennis court after half an hour, and I thought my phone was broken. What's gone on here? But yeah, it was an incredible result, and I was sort of saying to them, "Well, would you rather win the FA Cup and get relegated, or survive?" And they were all adamant, and they all said FA Cup. I said FA Cup.
Yeah.
So there's a potential, you know, you might get back to the top league, but that's going to be the only real opportunity. Agree with you, Torsten. I love the FA Cup too. It's fantastic. Of doing it, and so you know they would rather have that. And I think Wigan did it, didn't they? Wigan won the FA Cup the year that they got relegated. So would you agree if you were in that position? Would you rather, if it was a choice between FA Cup victory or relegation, when Rochdale obviously make the Premiership in years to come?
Yeah,
when you make it massive off the pod and you can buy Rochdale and drive them up the leagues.
Yeah, I probably would, to be fair. I've seen a few relegations in my time, so I'm used to it now. So I'd love to win it all.
Just brushes off the shoulder.
Yeah, I'm used to
it. I'll take an FA Cup victory for just one more relegation. Yeah,
I know.
But I think we've had a good chat about the cup up for the cup. I think we've covered through our absolute Lite Bite. I say if you're new to watching us, this is what we do on a Thursday. You can watch us live. We do the Lite Bite. We pick a topic, can be any topic, and we rabbit about that. And then obviously our main podcast is on a Monday, which you can still catch. Myself, Charlotte, and Josh did Mondays as we reviewed where we were with the mid-season of all the football, all the different things. We will be back on Monday. I don't know who it's going to be yet, but it will be three of us. We've obviously got Lucas and Hayley as well in the team who's not in, but I do believe Hayley is going to be on next week's Lite Bite. So if you've not caught Hayley yet, our new member of the Absolute Podcast, do make sure you join us next Thursday for that. And she's also got a whole week to pick a topic, any topic, football kind of related, you know. I'm expecting we might not be talking about the latest movie, but we might, because this is how the podcast goes sometimes. We go with the flow. So I think, thank you everybody for joining us. It's lovely to be back with you, Charlotte. Anything else you'd like to say, or where can people find you? Obviously, is the key.
First of all, I just want to apologise. I'm not always on my phone. I do have a laptop, but my Wi-Fi's just decided to have a nightmare. So I do apologise. I'm not usually this unprepared. But you can find me. I'm mostly active on Twitter under SharXREFC. Same on Instagram, same on TikTok as well, where I've been posting some stuff. And you can find my Her Game 2 Rochdale page at Rochdale HGT as well.
Perfect. Definitely go and check Charlotte out on that, as well as the Absolute Football Podcast socials. So we're on Twitter, TikTok. We've started doing some TikTok. Check us out over there on TikTok for some of our key clips, as well as Instagram too. We're obviously the YouTube channel on Twitch. You can watch us live, or you can and catch up with the shows that you've missed. And you can catch me up the FN Ducks on pretty much everything at the moment: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, doing all sorts of stuff, YouTube as well. Just filling my time, doing stuff to do with football at the moment. But for now, have a great evening, day, whenever you're watching this, and take care, and we'll see you soon.